Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Sunday, January 19th, 2025. We have an active weather pattern, a lot of cold air coming down from Canada. It's going to reach all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. So we have some weather that those of you watching along the Gulf Coast have not seen in a very long time. It's going to be life-threatening as well for people who may not have the shelter that they need, and also perhaps some snow loads in places like Louisiana, southern Louisiana. This update is for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment. The All Hazards Consortium, so we can share information across from private sector liaisons within state emergency operations centers and also private sector owner-operators from the food, fuel, medical supply, logistics, transportation, and communication sectors. Weather impacts those cell towers, and we try to tell you where that's likely to happen, or at least a possibility of happening because of extreme weather. This is what it looks like right now. This is the GOES East satellite image, and boy, look at that stream of moisture coming up from the East Coast. As a matter of fact, we're seeing moderate to heavy snow in parts of northwest Maryland, at least north and west of Baltimore and Washington, and also some mixed rain and sleet in the Baltimore-Washington area, and also some rain down south. This is storm number one that we're dealing with. But in back of this cold front, cold air is really streaming down into the Midwest. Look at this feature right here. Remember a week or so ago, we had that storm system that went from Kansas through Kansas City and St. Louis into Illinois and Indiana, and even stretched across into Maryland. Well, that snow is still there because it hasn't been warm enough to melt that snow, and we're also getting some other snow dumped on top of it. Another interesting thing, look at this lake effect, these clouds forming as cold air, really cold air, moves over the Great Lakes that aren't frozen yet. And so that's giving us lake effect snows that are piling up to the east of Lake Michigan and also to the east of Lake Ontario and the east of Lake Erie here into Pennsylvania. You can see the strong jet stream pushing over Florida, and that's causing a low pressure system that's located right off the Chesapeake Bay right now to strengthen. And that is why we have some enhanced activity for heavy snow. I'll show you that in just a minute. I do want to show you a little bit closer sector in over the Maryland area. This is called the mesoscale sector. Oh, let's take this full screen so you can see what's going on here. Look at all these bumps in the clouds. That means some enhanced convection. And look at this. This is some really enhanced snow activity. Look at those bumps there. We do have that strong low pressure system causing it's called a baroclinic zone. It's really giving us a lot of vertical motion. So these clouds are punching up above, and you can see the sun as it starts to, the terminator line comes closer to us. Look at these bumps here. So that's really enhanced precipitation right now, and that's what we're looking at. This is Washington, D.C., this is Baltimore, this is Kent Island, this is Ocean City and Delaware right here, and New Jersey. So we do have a lot of enhanced precipitation that's happening, going to cause snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour across Pennsylvania and into northern and western suburbs in the state of Maryland as well. So that's where the temperatures have been below freezing, really bordering on the freezing line here in the Baltimore-Washington area, most areas above freezing, but temperatures are on their way down. So let me show you on GeoCollaborate what it looks like here. I'll take that full screen and show you what's going on. So here is the radar. This is the radar data in Maryland and Virginia, all over the place. This is all lake effect snow coming in off of Lake Michigan, Grand Rapids seeing snow right now. This is all causing some disruptions to transportation, but we're going to see it widespread throughout the state of Pennsylvania, particularly in this purple area. This is what's called a mesoscale discussion. from the Storm Prediction Center, and they're seeing enhanced activity in this area. We could see snowfall rates on the order of 1 to perhaps even 1.5 to 2 inches per hour over the next several hours. So those of you in southern Pennsylvania up towards Harrisburg, and even not quite to Pittsburgh, but close to Philadelphia, are going to see enhanced snowfall rates. So that includes Reading over here as well. And that's starting to pick up as well. Snow is accumulating rather quickly in Pennsylvania, and will be also in northern New Jersey and also into Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, I'll widen out here a little bit, and I'll turn off the radar data, and I'll turn off that mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. And I do want to turn on the watches, warnings, and advisories. This is going to light up like a Christmas tree here. Look at that. Look at all these watches, warnings, and advisories. The pink, these are winter storm warnings. That's what's going on right now. So that means enhanced snowfall, 4 inches or more is likely. But look at all of the blue area. I'll zoom out here. The light blue. These are cold air, extreme cold weather advisories. That is what's going to be happening here in the south. And even in the blue here, freeze warnings and winter storm watches are in effect for storm number 2. That's down here along the Gulf Coast. I'll show you on the models what we're going to be witnessing here over the next few days, with snowfall from Houston over to New Orleans, even the southern tip of Louisiana, getting in on several inches of snow because of a strong low pressure that's going to form and move along the Gulf of Mexico, but with this incredible Arctic air coming down from Canada. Look at these blue areas. What are these blue areas? Extreme cold warning. That means we'll see wind chill indexes close to 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Why do we talk about wind chill indexes? Well, because a wind chill index of 25 degrees below zero or lower can freeze exposed flesh. So if we're talking about wind chill indexes of minus 30 to minus 40 degrees, you cannot escape getting frostbite if you're outside for more than 5 minutes. It is going to be terribly cold and quite disruptive. Even in New Mexico here, extreme cold watch. That's what this color is as well. So we're seeing all of these advisories issued because it's just a very rare event, particularly along the Gulf Coast, to see these kind of advisories. And look at this in southern Georgia, a freeze watch, which also extends into Jacksonville and northern Florida, where we may even see some accumulating snow from the Panhandle over to Jacksonville, Florida. That is going to impact critical infrastructure for sure. And along the south here, those of you who have exposed pipes, which are just about all of you, if the temperature stays at or below freezing for 48 hours or longer, the chances go up drastically that you will have an impact in your plumbing system, your exposed pipes. Any homes, which are a lot of them along the Gulf Coast, which are elevated and exposed underneath, many along the shoreline because of storm surges or high tides, your homes are elevated. If your plumbing is exposed, it's likely to freeze and you'll have burst pipes. Now, I want to switch gears here just for a moment and show you out the West Coast, because we do have fire weather watches and high wind watches in effect as well. First of all, I want to go from this mesoscale sector on the GOES East satellite showing all of these bumps and enhanced snowfall out to the west. And this is, let me fix this here. There we go. This is the GOES West satellite. And this is pretty amazing. I want to show you something here. You know how we usually have these streams of moisture headed into the West Coast? Look what's happening now. Moisture is being blocked and it's moving north. It's not really moving into the west coast. These are low clouds, low stratiform clouds that kind of creep in at night, the marine layer. That's how you know the marine layer in the west coast. And look at this here. This is in some of the fire-prone areas that have been hit so hard. I want to show you something very interesting. The Topanga camera from the west coast. I'm going to show you that. First, I want to show you on the NASA satellite. We had the VIRS and MODIS satellite sensor on the Terra and Aqua satellites pass over, and we have the latest information here from what it looks like. So here's that satellite picture, and this is from the MODIS sensor on board the Terra satellite. This is Topanga, California, right here. And we have a camera out there from Alert California watching for wildfires. And I want to show you these low-level clouds. They creeped in overnight, but then they backed out, and you can see them backing out here. I want to show you that on this camera. So this is Topanga Peak looking towards the canyon, and I want to put this into motion. This is that marine layer, how it creeped in overnight, and then as the sun came up, it really dried out that air, and look at that. That marine layer pulled back, and that is why we see this here, this bump here, where this marine layer is pulling back. We have a very strong high-pressure system that is going to be really taking shape here. I'm going back to the satellite picture because I want to show you. It's very clear here in California. High pressure is building in, and we have clockwise winds around the high pressure. So as this builds in over the next several days, we're going to see once again Santa Ana winds developing along the coastline. And that is not good news because we have fire weather watches in effect. So we have cold air really coming down out of Canada that's going to be impacting the central and eastern part of the country, and also out to the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. But I want to show you what it looks like from the temperatures, from the temperature standpoint. Here are the temperatures here. I'll widen out a little bit. And this is the temperature here. Look at this. 13 degrees below zero, 11 below in North Dakota, 1 degree in Bismarck. In parts of Minnesota, 11 degrees below zero. Look at this, single digits in Iowa right now. Chicago is in the single digits, 8 degrees, around 8 to 10 degrees right now. So this Arctic air is really moving in. That is really giving us some cold air, and that's going to be around for the next 3 to 4 days. This is going to have serious impacts to critical infrastructure when these cold temperatures move further to the south. Now look at the wind chill indexes. Look at this. 36, 39 degrees below zero. This is unhealthy to be out in, folks, because like I mentioned before, exposed skin can freeze in a matter of minutes with wind chill indexes below 25 degrees below zero. Look at this in Chicago, 11 below zero for wind chill indexes. Even down into Oklahoma, the wind chill index 16 degrees, 12 in Arkansas, 20 degrees is the wind chill index currently in Nashville. So all of this cold air is going to be moving further to the south, and I'll show you the temperatures right now. Look at these temperatures in parts of Louisiana. Right now, 37 degrees in northwestern Louisiana, 43, 48 in Baton Rouge, 52 in New Orleans. That is going to go down. You're going to see temperatures in the 20s during the day on Tuesday and Tuesday night as snow moves into the area. So let me show you what it looks like from the standpoint of the watches, warnings, and advisories as well. So over here in California, this is the fire weather watch. I'm going to zoom in here. This is the fire weather watch, and we also have additional high wind warning. That remains in effect from 8 o'clock p.m. Monday until 8 p.m. Tuesday. Also, a red flag warning is in effect, and that red flag warning is in effect from Saturday. Well, I'm sorry, down here from Saturday the 18th till Monday at 10 p.m. So strong northeast winds and low relative humidities for the eastern San Gabriel Mountains exist. And so we have, unfortunately, folks, another situation setting up where wildfires, should they form, this is not a prediction of wildfires that are going to form. It just means if wildfires form in this area, they will have the conditions to spread rapidly, and winds could gust up to 60 to 80 miles per hour. We have that on the crawl at the bottom of the screen, 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts between Monday and Thursday of this week. We'll be monitoring this very closely. There's a 50% chance that the National Weather Service could issue a particularly dangerous situation as far as wildfire spread is concerned in Southern California. This is terrible news. I hate to deliver it, but we do want to deliver you accurate and timely information that could impact critical infrastructure and people in Southern California and across the country. Look at these temperatures here in parts of Arizona in the 30s. It doesn't get, that cold air doesn't quite get over the mountains and through all the valleys. So we have 50s and 60s in Southern California, but that is still pretty cold. Look at this. Around Denver right now, temperatures 14 degrees. And as you get into the higher elevations in the Colorado mountains, we're below zero. Steamboat Springs, Colorado, on Tuesday morning will be 24 degrees below zero. That is a cold, cold day. And as a matter of fact, out there, I can show you what it looks like right now. This is Steamboat Springs and Steamboat Ski Resort. They're getting snow right now. You can see the visibility is down there. And look at that forecast. They'll be on and off with snow with a temperature of 15 degrees. That is 15 degrees below zero tonight, with a high on Martin Luther King Day, Monday, of 5 degrees in Steamboat Springs. Bring it closer to the Wisp Ski Resort. This is in Garrett County, Maryland. They are getting snow. You see some skiers coming down the slopes right now, and you see some lower visibility. That's because it is snowing out in western Maryland. And the temperature is pretty cold out there right now, and it's going to get much colder. Look at this snow forecast for Garrett County. We have a winter storm warning in effect. We also have high wind advisories and extreme cold. That's an extreme cold warning that's in effect in Garrett County through the rest of the week, likely until Thursday, with these bitter cold temperatures. So if anybody's planning on going to the higher elevations, western Maryland, West Virginia, it's going to be dangerously cold there coming up this week. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about now is the model forecast, because we want to go through this fairly quickly. You can see here, this is this afternoon, what's going on. Here's that low pressure system that's forming, getting a little bit stronger off the Chesapeake Bay. And I'm going to step through some of these time steps because you'll see that this low really is forecast to strengthen pretty quickly. This is about 7 p.m. tonight on Sunday. And you can see this band of heavy snow extending down into Maryland and also into eastern Pennsylvania. So in Baltimore and Washington, snow will pick up, and it'll snow at a rate of perhaps an inch per hour for maybe an hour or two. So maybe an inch or two of snow in the Baltimore, Washington area, but maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow north and west in those areas, north and west of Baltimore and Washington. You can see this frontal system. This is the leading edge of that Arctic air. Here's that high pressure system in Canada, where it is brutally cold right now, and that cold air is sliding right down into Texas and Louisiana. I'll show you the temperatures and how they're going to react as well. So as storm number one leaves the area, it's going to do it with some moderate to heavy snow in Maine, down East Maine, eastern Massachusetts, and also Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. You're going to see this bout of moderate to heavy snow, and you could see 4 to 6 inches of snow there. So it's not going to be a heavy wet snow. It will be more of a powdery type snow with winds picking up. Whenever you see these isobars close together, that means strong winds are in store. So we may have some blowing and drifting, some of that snow. But the expansive cold air is just going to be pouring down like molasses into the United States. And then we're going to get this low pressure system developing south of Texas. And you can already see precipitation picking up. And that's Monday afternoon around 2 o'clock. And watch as this low pressure system really takes shape south of Brownsville. And look at this. This is icing conditions just north of Brownsville, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley, where we'll have snow picking up. And that includes in the Houston, Texas area, where the Emergency Operations Center folks on all the ESF functions, emergency support functions, have been asked to report to the State of Texas Emergency Operations Center by 12 o'clock Monday, no later than 12 o'clock Monday, to handle this developing situation. And look at this, as this low develops in the Gulf and moves forward, moves to the east, this snow is going to pick up from eastern Texas into southern Louisiana. In northern Louisiana, not much by Tuesday afternoon, but it's certainly going to be snowing pretty hard in southern Louisiana. This is where we're going to have impacts. Nobody is ready to treat any of the roads. The state of Louisiana is getting ready to close overpasses and highways because no one should be out when it's snowing, and that snow is sticking to the roads in southern Louisiana. So this is Tuesday evening. This is where some moderate to heavy snow will be moving into places like Mobile, Alabama, and also Pensacola, Florida, western panhandle of Florida, Tallahassee. You may see some snow, mixed snow and rain, perhaps some sleet. And look at that as it continues to move to the east. So even some icing here is possible if we get some freezing rain, because the cold air that comes out of Canada, cold air is denser than warm air. So it stays close to the surface, right up against the surface. And then when rain falls through it, it can freeze on contact because temperatures are below freezing. That's what this pink area is. We could have some ice accumulation on some of the wires in parts of northern Florida. So we're going to be watching that very closely, even in Jacksonville. You could see some sleet mix in with the rain and perhaps some wet snowflakes as well in Jacksonville, Florida, as this system then moves off the coast. So we're talking about Monday into Wednesday, this major storm system impacting the Gulf Coast states and definitely impacting transportation. Again, the cold air is another threat in itself, and we have some cold air impacts here. We could have stress on the power grid as more and more people try to heat up their homes. So if you are without power, make sure if you have a generator, you do not run that generator indoors or even in your carport, because the exhaust can make its way, that carbon monoxide and dioxide can make its way into your homes, and that is a silent killer. You don't want those fumes in your house. If you run a generator, make sure it's away from your house. If you do have power and you're running space heaters, make sure you keep those space heaters at least 3 feet away from your wall and operate them safely. Never leave them unattended. And please minimize the use of any candles and make sure you have batteries in your flashlights. Many areas are opening up warming centers. New Orleans, Louisiana is opening up warming centers. So make sure if you live in the New Orleans area and you think you may run out of power, or you do run out of power, try to make it to a local warming center. But if it's snowing outside and the streets are snow covered, do not drive. Do not drive. It's very dangerous to drive in snow. Water systems. Pipes can freeze and burst, disrupting water supplies. Transportation, the roads, railways, and runways become unsafe due to slush and ice. Many of the southern airports are not prepared to clear any runways, so we may see closing of some major airports during the day, Monday into Tuesday, perhaps into Wednesday as well. And communication networks. Cold air can impact communication networks, switching equipment, computers, and that could impact your cell service as well. So make sure your cell phones are charged. In case you lose power, you can at least send some text messages. And here's a piece of advice as well. If you want people to know that you're okay and you're seeing your power flash, make sure that you update your message on your mobile device. Tell your loved ones that you're safe, that you're okay, what time you left that message. In case cell service goes down, they can at least rest assured that you're safe. And please check on your neighbors as well. So that's some of the extreme cold impacts to critical infrastructure. Back to the model forecast here. Looks like we're going to be dominated by extremely cold air. I'm going to change this to thermodynamics and talk about the 2-meter temperatures here and what that looks like over the next couple of days. And I'm going to back this up so you can see the cold air coming in. I'll back this up here. See it up in Canada? This is yesterday at 6Z. Now we're here at about now on Sunday. Look at that purple air. That purple air is well below zero, 19, 20 degrees below zero. And as we continue that, look at this, below zero temperatures all the way into Colorado, upper elevations of Colorado, coming down into North Dakota. This is about 15 to 25 degrees below zero. And then look at this, zero in parts of Iowa, heading down into the central part of the country. Now, during the daytime, sun warms us up a little bit, but not really much. Look at down here in parts of Louisiana. These temperatures are getting down here into brutally cold temperatures. This is where it's going to be when it's going to be snowing. Temperatures here in parts of Louisiana, 32 degrees. So temperatures in the low 30s here in southern Louisiana and also southeastern Texas. If the temperature, once again, remains below 32 degrees for a 48-hour period, you could have freezing and burst pipes in your household. And so you want to watch out for that. These are temperatures right now in the teens in southern Louisiana. When you have snow cover on the ground, the temperatures tend to stay colder because it's like just dumping ice everywhere. That's what snow is. It's ice. Starts to warm up pretty quickly. This is a Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures around 35 degrees in Louisiana. Pay close attention to your local broadcast meteorologist for all of your local advisories and advice for what you can do, because this cold air is going to stick around. This is Friday, and look at that. It's still very cold on the East Coast, down to the Gulf Coast, and over here. So the reason why it's so cold is because Alaska right now is so warm. We have very warm air up towards the poles, and that's squeezing the cold air down and forcing it down into the United States. So it's way above average, 46 degrees in Fairbanks. They should be 40 degrees below zero around this time of year. But it's very, very warm up in Alaska right now. And that bubble of warm air is forcing that cold air to come down here into the central part of the United States. So that's it for the forecast here. I'm going to leave you with the satellite loop here, the mesoscale sector in the Maryland area, and I'll widen out as well along the East Coast because we have storm number 1 moving through. Storm number 2 is going to impact the southern United States as far as precipitation and snow and ice is concerned, but the cold is going to impact 2/3 of the United States over the course of the next several days. Even the presidential inauguration has been moved indoors because we're going to be getting the coldest inauguration in history since Ronald Reagan was inaugurated. So we'll be keeping you posted. This update was for the All Hazards Consortium Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. Thanks so much for watching this update. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. Please take care of yourself, and during this brutal cold weather, please watch out for your neighbors. They really do appreciate it, and you may be saving their life.